Hey, how you doing? How's it going? I mean, other than the fact it's Monday, right? So, taking that into consideration, if you throw that, if we imagine for a moment that it's not Monday, how's it going? Me, it's going pretty good. Uh, wasn't too bad. A little dreary out today, which kind of sucks because we've been having almost like nice spring on the border of like almost summer type weather, and now today it feels like freaking winter time again. But then, like tomorrow, it's supposed to be back up close to 60. So at least it'll be short-lived. Did result in me being able to have a little bit shorter day than I will be pretty much from here on out, probably till about October. I'll be putting in long days with landscaping and so forth and so on. So anyway, what I'm here to do, I'm here to give you a sneak peek at something. But before I get into it, let me explain a little bit of background of myself, in case you didn't know. I work for a franchisee company that owns a chain of fast food restaurants. I have worked for, well, not these particular owners, but the particular brand of fast food restaurant. I've worked for just over 31 years. I know you're saying, what? Why? Well, because I had fucking bills. That's why. But no, also because, why not? People say you can't get anywhere in fast food, but you can. You can get anywhere in any job if you're willing to put the work into it. Case in point, I bought this house. All the stuff you see behind me, I bought. I've done pretty good for myself, working in the field I've been working in. Now, in case you're wondering, is that all I do? Just work in like a fast food restaurant? Well, no. I work in one of our restaurants full time, mornings, Monday through Friday. But on top of that, I also do the landscaping for 7 of our locations. I power wash at 11 of our locations. Although the ones in Columbus, I don't get to on as regular schedule as I'd like, just because it's like an hour and a half drive back and forth. An hour and a half there, hour and a half back. So if I'm working till, especially on days where I work until 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the restaurant, I'm not getting to Columbus till 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then when you figure in, often it takes anywhere from 2.5 to sometimes 4.5, 5 hours to do a good power wash, sidewalks, dumpster area, drive-through pad, and then figuring driving back, I can literally only do one store. And Torrent, driving that far, it's better, if I can get off earlier, and then I can maybe try to fit in, like, do 2 of them while I'm in Columbus. Okay, so I don't get to Columbus with power wash as much as I'd like, but on top of that, I also do minor electrical, plumbing, change filters and HVAC. I do some preventive maintenance stuff on some of the equipment when necessary. I do tile work. I do painting. Other odds and ends. So, I worked my way up. I started out as crew back in 1989. I actually trained in one restaurant while the restaurant that I'm still at today was being built. Started out as crew, went up through, at that time we had production leader, so I went through production leader. I was production leader for about a week before they made me manager. But I was a crew member for a number of years before they boosted me up to management. But yeah, I went through management, and then because of the way I work, the previous owners, Bex, who are in Seattle now, their maintenance guy was retiring, so they asked me if I'd be interested in taking over on maintenance. And I was like, sure, why not? I kind of get to make my own schedule. I'm kind of my own boss. Oh yeah, sign me up. So I took over on maintenance, and then when the new owners now um, took over, because the Becks decided, for personal reasons, they decided they were going to sell the restaurants. They owned the ones in Sydney, Troy, and Tip City, which is actually no longer open. They closed it down like last year. Just didn't generate enough sales. Um, yeah, they were going to go out west, Seattle, so they sold the restaurants to the current owners, and they kept me on. And now I split my time between working in the kitchen Monday through Friday mornings. So if you're ever in Troy, Ohio, you want some breakfast, come on in and see me. Say hello. Uh, it'll be good. I guarantee it. Excellent. And then I do maintenance stuff. So 3/4 of the year, I can put anywhere from 60 to 70 hours a week, and I gripe about it a little bit. I complain about it, just like anybody would, really. Um, but overall, I actually don't mind. You know, I like the paycheck, because then that allows me on the weekends, or when I do decide to take a day off for some of it, which isn't very often. I rarely ask for days off. Unless I have like an all day concert or something like that, which probably won't be going on this year because I just found out one of my concerts the schedule for this year has been canceled again, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, Comic Con, something like that. Then I ask for a day off, but other than that, I don't. I work the days I'm scheduled, Monday through Friday, and yeah, I can literally work 15 or 16 hours a day. And again, it can be tiring, but it makes for a nice paycheck. And like I said, and it just goes to show, I'm able to do that because of the way I work. Because of the type of worker I am, they don't have a problem with me doing everything that I do and me getting the overtime I get. Because I'm going to toot my own horn here, but I think it's because they know that when they're paying me the overtime, I'm worth that time and a half. Because of the way I work. If I'm on the clock, I'm working. That's it, plain and simple. The only time I'm not is like when I'm in the car or in the work truck driving from one location to another. Technically I'm still working because I'm still on the clock and it's still for work, but that's the only time I'm actually like sitting down. And honestly, that's when I like eat. If I don't get a break in the mornings, which sometimes I don't because we're busy, short-handed, what have you, then I just eat lunch en route from one store to another. That way I don't have any downtime. Because the way I look at it is, the longer I'm on the clock doing stuff, the longer it is before I can go home. Right? So if I actually clock out to take a break to eat before I head to the other stores or whatever, that's that much longer I'm going to be before I can go home. So I'd rather just knock out two birds with one stone and just eat while I'm driving. It works. So that's my background on me. So if you're wondering, why have you worked at fast food for so long, well, that's why. Um, sure, would I like to be doing something else? Of course. Um, am I planning on eventually being able to do something else? That's kind of why I started my own business, and I'm hoping to make a success of it. Yeah. But in the meantime, anybody that tells you can't, fast food is a dead end, it's not. Okay, I have a 14-room, 1920 Victorian home that I just found out I started out with a 30-year loan. I was able to refinance it to a 15-year loan. I bought the house in the end of 2007, and I think, let's say I got like maybe 8 more years to pay on it. So overall, it was about I probably overall I'd probably be paying on about 25 years altogether. But most people would look at that job, at fast food and say you wouldn't be able to do that working in fast food, but you can't. Like I said, you can get somewhere in any job if you're willing to put in the work and show that you're worth it. So don't knock it. And where would everybody else be, especially this past year with the pandemic? Where would everybody be if there weren't fast food places? A lot of you'd be fucking hungry. That's where you'd be. I wouldn't be surprised there's some people out there that don't even know how to boil water because they're so used to just going out and eating, where stuff's prepared for them. Just saying. So applaud the essential workers. That's what I say. Moving on. I know you're thinking, okay, when's he going to get to this? All right. When is he going to get to this? All right. I'm getting it. All right? The other bonus is within my job, I actually do the truck order for the restaurant I work in, and I put the supply truck away when it comes in. So when we get something new, even though I might not be the first to actually know about it, because a lot of times we get a new product and I don't know about it until it actually shows up. Because they don't always give us a real big heads up on when we're getting something new. Sometimes it's literally like days before we start it, we find out, and they have a video for it and so forth and so on. But when it comes to certain like promotional type stuff, I'm usually when it comes in, I'm the first to know that it came in. And with most fast food places, used to be where like kids meals were the big thing. You could always count on like every month there being a promotion for the kids meal. In particular, whatever premium or toy was going to be in the kids meal. And it used to be where those were big tie-ins with animated features or movies or video games. Not so much anymore. It is kind of true that most of the time, when these kids get their toy out of their kids meal, they literally play with it for a few minutes, and then they never touch it again. Even after they get it home, they don't do anything with it. Of course, I think the toys and the premiums in kids meals aren't as great as they used to be either. That might have something to do with it, at least recently, over the past 5 years or so. I've really seen where there's been a little more effort in these premiums. So there aren't a whole lot I take notice of, even when we get them in. But certain franchises, I do. And the ones we got in today on our truck, because when we actually order them, it doesn't say what it's going to be. It just basically just says, kids meal premium. Okay, so it's just basically generic, and they just rotate. And they don't do the big tie-ins anymore. You don't have a lot of like POP or point of purchase advertisement, like on the windows or at the register and stuff, showing it. I have very rarely seen like any like television commercials or magazine ads for their kids meal promotions. But I personally think that's something they should still do, because the way I see it, and I know this again from the many years that I've been working there, is that depending on what you have in the kids meal, it can actually drive in a good amount of business into the restaurant. Because a lot of people that have kids, that's who they ask. Even though technically they don't have to. They're the parents. They can decide where they're going to go to eat. But a lot of times, they'll ask kids, where do you want to go? Especially when it comes to like fast food. Ask kids, well, what are you hungry for? What do you want? And a lot of times, the kids make that determination based on Well, what toy does this place have? What does that place have? So if it's something really good, and that's where the kids want to go, and the parents go, and more times than not, the parents aren't going to go and just buy the kid a meal. They're going to wait and go at lunch or at dinner time, and the whole family's going to eat. And a lot of times, especially back when they did the big promotions, a lot of that business might be driven in by the kids wanting to go there to get the toy. So I personally think they should invest a little bit more into that just to drive business up. And put a little more effort into some of the toys. I mean, I have to be honest, some of the toys we've had over the years were just pathetic. And that's not a knock on the restaurant or anything like that. It's just whoever, whatever company was behind manufacturing toys or designing those particular toys, they could have made it a little bit better. But then we've had some that are really good. In fact, we've had some over the years that nowadays can actually fetch a decent amount of money if you have like the whole set intact, still bagged. Like the Lion King, Toy Story ones. Yeah. But I digress once again. I do that a lot, so I apologize. So let's get to it. The tie-in that I was talking about, I believe I mentioned, is a movie that just recently, or actually not recently, I think some people have actually already been able to see it already, but it actually, to the general public, I think is releasing on a particular streaming service later this week. And that movie is a DC property. It is the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Now, I don't know whether the toys we're getting right now are meant to be a direct tie-in with that, but to me, they almost got to be in some way just because we're getting them right now, and these are toys we have never had before. We've had Justice League toys before, but this particular style, what these actually are, we have never had before. I do know that the style of toy that this is kind of known, especially, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that especially overseas, like in Asia, that this style of toy is rather big. So, keep that in mind. The style of toy is big, the design of it, okay, and the franchise is Justice League. Now, these two that I did pay for are just the first two out of, I believe, 8, because the box said this was the first assortment of 4, and there was 2 in this, 2 different ones in this box, so I'm assuming, if you do the math, there's going to be 8 different ones. So, like I said, one of the perks, me being the one that puts the truck away, I can be sure that we get a case of toys, at least a case of toys each week. I wouldn't be surprised to see these once people see that we have these, for them to start selling pretty good. Either from kids wanting them or even adults like myself that think they're cool, and especially because of the franchise, because it's a franchise that I really like. In which case, I might end up having to actually get more than one case on each truck. But the good thing is that when the cases come in, I can see, and if the ones I don't have yet, I can go ahead and buy mine right then and there. And no, before anybody asks, I'm not going to buy more for anybody else. If you want them, bring your butt in to the Burger King in Troy, Ohio. And like I said, I think we will probably be into using these by maybe this weekend. At the very latest, it'll be Monday. But I'm almost positive, because I think the case of toys that we had that was open was literally like half a case. So I would guess by Friday we'll be into these. So without further ado, I know it took a little while. I wanted to explain everything. we have Justice League toys. And actually, let's do that in a second. We'll do the big kahuna first. So here we go. Let me actually take it out of the plastic. These are Justice League, and they're called Chibi, Chibi figures. So there is the Superman. And I kind of like them because to me they almost kind of remind me of kind of like Funko Pop figures. You know, with the kind of oversized head, smaller body. You know, just basic features. I mean, basically all you see is the eyes. You know, he's got his regular kind of like little curly Q type, hair right there in the middle, and of course, you know, the uniform. He actually looks a little chubby though. You notice that? He looks a little chubby. I think Superman might need to maybe eat a few more greens or something. He's a little junking it out a little too much. But, cool. I don't know how, and they actually do. It's nice because they do have a decent flat on the bottom of them, so they actually will stand up, even though they're pretty top heavy with the big heads. So there we go, Superman. Second one in this first series, or first assortment of 4, is Batgirl. Get where the background don't interfere with you being able to see it. There we go. Batgirl. Back, cape. Here on the bottom. Her hair really billowing out of the back. Kind of neat. The hair, like on the front, is actually, you know, it's not solid right here. There's kind of like an opening there. So it almost makes it look like it's kind of wind blown. So there we go. So those are the first 2 Justice League Chibi figures that are either currently right now available at Burger King restaurants or that will be very soon. Like I said, at the restaurant in particular I work at in Troy, we will probably be having these out and about. I mean, if you're interested in getting them, I would say start maybe. See, today's Monday. I would say maybe even Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday, if you're interested in getting those. Go through there Wednesday and see. Obviously, if you're not close to Troy, go to a Burger King close to you, and ask and see if they have them in their kids' meals already. But I will try to keep a update here on. I'm hoping to get each one as they come out, and I'll jump on here and do. Obviously, other videos will be a lot shorter, but I'll show the new ones as I get them. Other than the fact I do actually work for a Burger King franchise, I'm not endorsed or paid for this video in any way, shape, or form by Burger King or by the Burger King I work for. I wanted to do this just to, one, because I thought these were really cool, and 2, because hey, if I can maybe do something to actually help bring in a little bit of business to the restaurant I work at, why not? Nothing wrong with that. I'm allowed to. So that's it. I know it's a long video for 2 little figures, but I wanted to give background and explain, so you knew exactly where I was coming from. So that's it. If you're interested in those, by all means, keep an eye out for them at your local BK. Everybody have a great evening. Stay safe and healthy. Stay warm. It is a little chilly out today, like I said. Hopefully, I think through the night, it's actually going to be warming up. Because tomorrow is supposed to be a lot better, at least here in Ohio. Look out for yourself and those around you. That's all I got. See ya.